In this episode, Scott is in Hawaii. Aloha. That's why his sound is a bit funny. There's also some rewards.
In the storm he found his crown.
The problem was, like, you're there and you're watching these guys do ceremonies that are literally over 1,000 years old. And I'm there with my 6 drinks and I'm going, where did Alex bang his wife? Like...
My friend had a baby. Now he don't sleep no more. Waves crash in his eyes. Tides on the nursery floor. Oh, my friend had a baby.
Scott, you lucky bastard, coming in from remotely this week.
That's right, coming in from Hawaii, baby! Babymoon!
A Babymoon in Hawaii, that's crazy.
It has been a, on my end, incredibly selfish trip full of Mai Tais and eating of the poke bowls and all the things that my wife loves but cannot partake in. So I'm drinking for 2 and...
So, all right, I want to talk more about that later, and I'm insanely jealous. But you have a story to share that is going to shock me, apparently.
Oh, it's not going to shock you. I think you're going to be both disappointed and distressed about me. Well, I was distressed at the time because, and it's a good segue because I'm in Hawaii right now, and this story revolves around McDonald's. You know, the 3 things that are, quite commonly thought about when it comes to America is Hawaii, McDonald's, and having lots of guns. So I'm doing my best to be a good husband, right? I'm doing my best. I really thought I'll shift gears now that my wife's pregnant and actually try and be a good husband for once. We needed to stay in this Airbnb because we're getting our floors refinished, and we found out very close to that our floors are actually full of poison. And we needed to get out of the house in the lead up to our little Babymoon here. Wifey had the hankerings for some macas, as you do, and I thought, no, I'll go and do it. And the order had quite a volume. It had the nugs and the cheeseburger and the McChicken and the all the good stuff. And I was like, well, I'm actually not like super nibbly nib right now, so I'm just going to just tack something on the end. So I went to Macca's by myself, and I'm going through the drive-thru, I'm putting this order in, and I realized as I got to the window, there's a telltale sign of shame that there was only 1 drink, right? So I'm looking at this lady who is serving me through the window. And she hands me the big bag of burgers and the single drink. Yeah. And I went, oh, fuck. She thinks this is all for me. Like, she thinks I'm going to go and, like, eat all of this Macca's and go and, like, I don't know, go and jump off the Derwent River Bridge afterwards. And immediately I'm like, okay, well, I've got to... I need to let her know there's other people in my life that are going to be enjoying this Macca's with me. And so I said, pregnant wife at home, got to make sure she's fed, ha, ha, ha. And I thought I don't know what she was looking at the time. She was looking through the card. I thought she was looking at the steering wheel, and she had this really concerned look on her face, like really worried look. And I realized as I was driving off that I was mucking around in the kitchen beforehand, just sort of tidying up, and I'd taken my wedding ring off, and I had like a shocking wedding ring tan on my finger. Oh. So it only contributed to the vision from her that this is absolutely all for you. You absolute mess of a human being. Your marriage is broken down. Look at your horrible wedding ring tan. I was like, as it sort of dawned on me what she was looking at, I was truly gutted to the point where I nearly turned the car around to go and explain to her, no, I get back to this Airbnb we're in. I tell my wife, and I was like, you're going to have to come back to McDonald's with me. Like, I know you don't feel well, but I need to prove to this complete stranger that you're real. And again, that second realization that I have so many social anxiety moments in my life that my wife's refused to me, like going into these weird states of panic. And she's just like, just sit down.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
And what makes me think as well, like, did the person serving you, like, have they experienced this before?
There was a knowing look. Like she had a very knowing look on her face of, I know who you are. Like, stop trying to, put this masquerade on that there are other people in your life that care about you and you're getting a bag of burgers for them. You've got one drink. That is the code. But this is all for me. So yeah, it was a very embarrassing moment for me. That really shouldn't have been embarrassing because I'm an adult and I should be able to, move past these things. I've been thinking about it. It comes to mind like every day for me. Like I think about it, but then it comes with the relief that in about a week's time I'll be getting on a plane and I'll never see these people again.
Okay,
Mrs. McDonald,
she's waiting.
I know. She is waiting for me. I'm going to see her somewhere. I'm going to see her in Coles. And I'm running up to her. I'm going to shove my wife in her face and be like, see? And she's going to be like, who are you? Like, why are you yelling at me in the fresh fruit section?
You are doing what many people dream of, is going on a holiday, and let alone on a holiday pre-first child, which is all very exciting. And if people are catching up with this podcast for the first time, you know that both Scott and I have babies on the way, with me number 3 and Scott number 1. How far are we in our journeys now? I think we've hit the final trimester is where we're at the moment. So we're on the home stretch.
We're right on your tail.
Yeah, you are, 2 weeks behind us? Something like that?
Yeah.
Which is the whole reason this podcast exists, really, is that we're sharing this journey. And so we don't exactly have the joy and the privilege and the freedom to head overseas. But why did you guys want to get away?
We're not super well-traveled people. Like we've been some places, we've done Japan and gone to Thailand and, went to New Zealand at some point. But even though we're not super well-traveled, we love traveling, which our version of traveling is essentially just eating in different places and being drunk in different places. Harder for my wife to sort of achieve the second component of that currently. Hence the reason, I'm making sure to have around 30 to 40 Mai Tais a day, just me. It was something that my wife brought up. She said, we really do need to have a bit of a getaway. We're both, pull very, very long hours at work and all that kind of thing. And adding a baby into the mix is only going to compound that. So let's just have a little escape. And we didn't have sort of any vision of going to Hawaii at all. It was purely a Black Friday sale that popped up, and my wife was having a bit of research of where to go, because obviously we want to be somewhere with good healthcare. We wanted to be somewhere that's reasonably safe and not going to be wandering up and down rickety flights of stairs and so forth. She yelled across the house. She said, "Do you want to go to Hawaii?" And I went, "No, I don't." And she's like, "Do you want to go to Hawaii for $450?" And I went, Yes, book that in. So it was absolute steal. Getting over here was crazy. So yeah, Black Friday, I'm all about it.
So did you guys have a conversation? Because knowing where we are at our pregnancy at the moment, we don't really want to be too far away from home. Like my wife took a little holiday in the last week, so I solo dadded like a legend. She went to a place only an hour away from home. And she was like, that's as far as I want to go. But you guys have gone halfway across the planet. What were the conversations like did you talk to your obstetrician first or anything like that?
Yeah, he was all for it. In fact, he was really encouraging to do something. But we kind of kicked the can around a little bit to begin with, and we were thinking, well, maybe we'll go on a cruise. Like that's something that's really low key and really, it's easy. You're in one spot most of the time. That'd be nice. But on cruises, there's a cutoff date. If you're pregnant, they won't allow you on board if you're post a certain amount of weeks. So we ID'd these cruises early on. We're like, okay, well, that one looks nice. And then in the fine print, it's like, if you are over 18 weeks pregnant, you're not allowed to come on board.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's that kind of scratched that off the list. And then we were kind of go, oh, maybe we'll go up to Cairns or we'll go somewhere, domestic. And the weather's been so shit in Australia. It's been so scorchingly hot. And, being from Tasmania, anything over 24 degrees is like, it's a horror show for us now. So yeah, it's just one of those things. The stars aligned and the price was right and the timing was right and the OB said, yeah, go and do it. We were very fortunate though, because one of our review meetings with the OB was on the day of our travel.
Oh wow!
So the day we're taking off, so there was a chance for that, and that final, everything's okay, you're all good, blood pressure's good, scans look good. So yeah, my wife had an ultrasound the morning of early afternoon of. So would have been a pretty disappointing day if
can you imagine?
We walked out and went, oh no, all this non-refundable activity. That's good. I've got to and this is a full shout out to my wife, because yesterday we had an adventure day. We did a hike, we did some, foraging around in the water. We went and, we had this guide, named Rob from Godspeed Adventures. Shout out to Rob. Send the check.
Our first sponsored promo. Excellent.
Yeah. But he was awesome. And it's interesting the way that my wife's been treated over here, particularly by guys like that, who every step along the way, there are these checkpoints of, okay, we're going to do this. Are you comfortable with that? Or we went up and did this hike and went up to see some waterfalls. And he said, oh, do you want to keep going? And he pointed to what I would describe as a wall, not a hiking trail. And I was like, how the fuck do you get up there full stop, let alone when you're pregnant? And he's like, yeah, it's probably a bit steep, isn't it? And I went, steep? It's sheer. But it was great, like the entire way through. And the same thing with all the little activities we're doing along the way. We're getting checked in on very, very regularly to say you're comfortable with this, you're okay with this, you're right with eating this, because a lot of things that I guess for us in Australia, it's kind of taboo to be eating raw fish. It's taboo to be eating, various different things, whereas like raw fish is just commonplace in the diet for Hawaiians. And so the idea of not eating it while pregnant is sort of bewildering to them. So it's been really, really nice. It's genuinely have been shocked, surprised, pleased with the level of attention my wife's been getting over here.
Do you have a, fortune willing, that is there an emergency plan should things kick off early? Not to set off any health anxieties in you at all, because I know you're not health anxious at all, whatever, So.
Well, here's something that really keeps things spicy over here, right? So there are no, and when I say no, there are zero insurers that will insure a baby.
Right.
Like an unborn baby. They'll insure the mother, but if the baby, if our kid goes, that's it, I'm coming out, I want to see Hawaii right now, we are full paying customers of the American healthcare system.
Oh no.
So and that was honestly the one big warning from our obstetrician. He said, look, you just need to be aware of this. Like this, like everything was great. You're all good. Like there's no risk, and the fluid's right, and he looks pretty cozy in there. Don't stress. But if he decides that now's the time, because he's what's the actual term? He's when the baby gets to a certain stage, it's a valid, or it's a what's the name of the
viable?
A viable, yeah, it's a viable birth now. And he said if he comes, you are going to be like an episode in ER of some Australian having a total meltdown, looking at the bill. Fuck. And he's like, you can't just stick the baby in the mail and post it back and then we'll put it in the hospital here. He's like, it's going to have to stay in the neonatal ward for a couple of weeks. So, and I was like, what's the sort of price we're talking on that? And he's like, oh, it'd be 7 figures. And I'm like, good. But he's like, but you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry, you're fine. But you could be ruined by this, but you're fine. Like, don't worry about it.
Clench, hold on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Man.
You'd get an American passport though, surely, right? I mean, that'd be pretty funny. That'd be a funny story to tell at 21st.
Yeah, in the cardboard box that we'll be living in, but that would be a great story. In the cardboard box house that we're living in, made out of dune bag boxes. Yeah. Now, son, let me regale the story of the first time you disappointed me. It was your birth, and you financially ruined us.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen, even though it would be a funny story. Part of me is, no, it's not worth it. I don't think it's worth it because that would be really messed up. Oh, yeah. Have you guys had your blood glucose test yet?
Yes. We are not in the diabetes range, which is good. What about you guys? How's all the latest?
We've just had our blood glucose test and we're waiting on the results. And as per usual, my wife did not like the drink. She thought it was absolutely disgusting. I don't know how your wife felt about it, but I've got a couple of friends that are like, oh no, yeah, I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, my wife was fine with it.
Oh, okay.
She was like, oh, it's just like a flat lemonade, but there was different flavors though. So I assume some of the flavors are grosser than the other ones.
Yeah.
But I think I mentioned before, like, I don't know if my wife and I are just weird, but when I had to have my colonoscopy and I had to drink orange prep, and everyone was like, oh, orange prep. I was drinking. I'm going, I could drink this every day. Oh, this is really nice. I was like, do you have a version of this that doesn't make you shit yourself? Because if you do, I'm in.
You were talking about faux pas before, I guess, with your Macca's experience. And I've got a story to tell with, what I'm trying to segue to here. But have you guys had any experiences just with people out and about who probably shouldn't be talking to pregnant mothers and having their opinions about pregnancy and all those sorts of things?
No, weirdly, we've had a pretty good run with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I know part of me does wonder, and I know there's a wicked story you're about to tell, but part of me does wonder whether that is because my wife pointed this out the other day when we were walking around. She said, oh, I'm touching my belly a lot. And I was like, well, that's probably pretty normal. You're pregnant. And she's like, yeah, but I like it. It makes me smile. And I said, yeah, well, I think you're kind of the very definition of the glowing, smiling pregnant lady, like very nice. So I don't know if that is immediately showing off that there is pregnancy going on there, and there's the touching of the belly, and all the photos were in, I'm touching the belly and so forth. So,
yeah.
But I'm assuming things have not been so smooth for you and your partner.
Well, it has been. It's been just in general with health a rough. This has been a rough pregnancy, and I don't know if it gets worse with everyone. And send us in your stories if you've got them. Oh, we also need to share the email address at some point. Make sure we do that at the end of this episode. But we had a moment the other day, and I wasn't there, and my wife called me up and goes, this fucking mole. She doesn't swear very much, but that was sort of my interpretation. So she'd just she'd done all the morning routine stuff, dropped off the kids, did all those things. And she was like, all right, I'm going to get myself a chai latte or whatever it is, just to make herself feel good. And so she got the drink. She said, you know what, I'm going to give myself a choc chip muffin because I deserve it. And like, absolutely, I get myself a choc chip muffin just because. And so she ordered it, and there was this older lady standing next to her who leaned over to my wife and goes, just say that it's for the baby. It's not for you. It's for the baby. You're doing this for the baby. And she was like, oh, okay. My wife's a real people pleaser. And so she had a bit of a laugh and said, oh, yeah, very good. But it caused this lady to engage in conversation with her.
Yuck.
I know, right? And so she's like, oh, so how far along are you? And my wife said, oh, just over 26 weeks. And she reeled back with shock. You go, really? Wow. And then she talked about how her niece, who was huge apparently, turned out to be twins, like trying to offer my wife potentially advice, or maybe you've got twins in there. It's like, no, we've got to this point without talking to a doctor or having a scan. And then she goes, oh, what number is this? And my wife said, oh, this is number 3. And she looked shocked again that this is number 3. And she says to my wife, well, you better tell your husband to stop.
What?
It's like, and my wife was like, basically at this point, it was like expecting her to start rubbing her stomach and giving her all sorts of advice. And apparently not having 3 kids is totally taboo, according to this woman. And apparently giving marital advice while she's at it, just out in the open.
I mean, if that's the price of admission for a chocolate chip muffin, I mean, your wife is obviously far more. I think my wife would glass that woman. Like, I think that chai would be in that woman's face if that was my wife. Yeah, that's questionable. I think it's interesting the sort of shape and size of the pregnancy itself. You know, where the belly's at. Is it out to the side? Is it out to the front? Is it a combination of both? Always seems to be a really hot point of, conversation. Like, oh, you're coming out the front, so you're going to have a tall one. It's like, well, that's fucking not true. Like, none of that stuff's real. Like, oh, well, has your belly button turned from an innie to an outie yet? It hasn't. Oh, so we're going to have frog legs. Oh, fuck, shut up. Like, what are you talking about? Leave us alone. As if all of the stress of growing a human being and all the pressures of trying to do the right thing by the body and by the baby, and then having all this unsolicited, oftentimes ridiculous advice jammed down your throat. Oh my God, just back it up. Well, I'm sorry your wife went through that. That's not ideal. So she had a little getaway though. You said she had her own little Babymoon.
Yep, she got away for a week, and I looked after the kids. And I was told by many people, "Wow, you're such a wonderful dad." I'm like, I know. And then when I told my wife that people were giving me that feedback, she was like, "You went away for like a week and a half last week, and no one told me that I was being a good mum." And it was like, I think you're a good mum, but I don't know how much that quelled the anger in her eyes. But that's okay.
There is something to be said about that unfairness of, and I'm guilty of it as well. Yeah, I'm pretty guilty of it as well. You drive around, you drive past the park, there's a dad, kicking a soccer ball with the kid, and you're like, oh, that's a great dad. And then you see the poor mother, just trying to survive at the supermarket, juggling 1,000 things, and the kid's hysterical because the kid doesn't want to be there. Mm-hmm. And you go, oh, that's just parenting. Yeah. And you go, well, why does the dad who's doing the fun activity, he gets showered with all the praise, and then in that scenario, which I know mums can do fun activities and dad can do, domestic activities as well, which are not always fun. But we're so quick to jump to that conclusion that just because the dad's involved that they're a great dad, whereas there's just this higher level of expectations that are unfairly put on women. It's, if you have an opinion on that, unless it's the right one, keep it to yourself. Because anything that you say, Weld, to counter what I've just said is going to make you look and sound like a complete asshole.
Yep.
So, but I know this is your third. We're our first, so there's sort of the first baby excitements and whatnot. Did you and your partner ever do a Babymoon for your first or second? Did you ever do a little getaway together?
No, I don't think we did. I can't remember. That's what it feels like. That'd be over 6 years ago now. Nah, I don't remember. I've got no clue.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know.
Oh boy.
Well, we were overseas when she was conceived, I can tell you that much.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So maybe it was a pre-baby bonkathon. I'm going to get in trouble for that.
So wherever this pre-baby bonkathon has occurred, like maybe I don't want to know where that was because I don't want that country ruined for me thinking that you and your wife use this country for your various sexcapades. So we're walking around constantly changing gloves, being like, oh, can't touch this railing. Alex's ass crack might have been on it.
I'll give you. I'll check on the itinerary and we'll go through the list in the next episode. Let's do that.
I'd rather you just get a map and just put red X's everywhere that you guys did it, and then stay away from those suburbs.
All right, let's jump into. I want to hear your "How to Dad" question for this week. So let's hear that theme music.
How to dad, how to do, fix a boo-boo or a shoe, got a tantrum, got no clue. how to dad, it's in your hand. Step by step, you'll understand. How to dad, you're the man.
Scott, what is your how to dad for this week?
On trend with traveling, I think a bit about what we did in the planning and what we've done historically when we want to go for a trip somewhere. We just go, okay, cool. We want to go for a trip. We've got time off at this time of the year. Where are we going to go? Cool, book it. Where are we going to stay? Cool, book it. And it's sort of like a, relatively smooth part of it, that component. So my how to dad question for you is, how do you go about explaining to your kids that you're going on a trip, and how do you prepare them for it? And as a little sub question, how old do you think is old enough for a kid to actually appreciate that they're going on a cool holiday?
Oh, good question. I mean, we're coming up to that point now where we're like, okay, we want to throw the kids on a plane and get somewhere. And I know many people have done it before me and many people will do it afterwards, but I am genuinely fearful of that experience. So that has been a difficult one to sort of get me on board with. But we are having conversations about maybe getting them on a plane up to Queensland. And at this age now, at 5 and 3, they understand the concept of travel. And we've done lots of road trips places and they're totally chill with that. That's no problem at all. In fact, when we talk about going to a holiday house or something like that, they're really excited and they want to do it. Or we go to a caravan park and like, yeah, cool, this is going to be awesome. So that bit is easy. It's the further travel that is, I think, going to be tough because my son loves transport, hates the idea of getting in a plane. Like he, will point to planes and be like, oh, plane. It's like, oh, you want to go on a plane? It's like, no, don't want to go on plane. And they were at the airport when I went on a trip last year to say goodbye. And when it was my time to get on the plane, my daughter absolutely lost it because she knew that I was going to be away for a week and was really upset, which was heartwarming in itself. But my son thought that he was going to have to get on the plane and had an absolute meltdown. That has given me the pretext of absolute fear of trying to go on a holiday. And then I talked to other mates who took their 2-month-old, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and he said, yeah, they were fine the whole time. Like, how? How are they fine the whole time? Because you hear all those stories of parents bringing on bags of lollies for everyone else in the plane and going, sorry about this, thinking that they're about to lose their minds. And I don't know, like our kids don't have access to screens. They don't play with phones and tablets. So I'm like, oh, do we break the rule for this trip?
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know you had rules in place. That's interesting for a guy in your line of work to be preventing your kids from accessing screens.
Yeah, I know. Oh, don't get me wrong. They get access to TV on Friday, Saturday, Sundays. During the week, there's no TV.
No TV at all?
During the week, Monday to Thursday, no TV.
No TV? What do they do?
Ride their bikes, talk to each other, fight, all the usual stuff.
That's horrible. Admirable position to take as a duo of parents.
Yeah.
To say no, keep that screen time down. Every time we go somewhere, anywhere, whether it's domestic or overseas, I always think about this question. Even before we had the pregnancy underway, because I think back to the first overseas trip that we took, which was in Vietnam, which is a beautiful country, like absolutely amazing. And we went to an area called Bai Tu Long Bay. And on our junk that were on our boat, there were these kids. And these were like the coolest fucking kids I've ever interacted with or seen. They're like this trio of, look, the visual aspect of it all, it would have made Adolf Hitler blush. Like we're talking blonde hair, blue-eyed, like... They were German as well. Yeah, they were German. I don't just immediately jump to Adolf Hitler when I see a blonde-haired, blue-eyed person. But the mum was German, the dad was Australian, so his accent really stood out amongst the crowds. So, but these kids were awesome. Like the way they were interacting with the people that were working on the boat and the other guests, they were so polite, they were so friendly. They were asking the staff to teach them different Vietnamese words. And they would have been aged between 4 and 8. Right. And I remember those kids, I was like, wow, those kids are amazing. They're great. And there's this other kid that was on there as well. And I was like, that kid sucks. Like, that kid can go in the water. And he didn't want to be there. His iPad wouldn't connect. He was pissed off to no end. He was, again, probably about 8 years old. And he was just having the worst time of his life because all he wanted to do was get on the screens. Whereas the other three, which I assume the other three are raised in a very similar sort of household that you're cultivating on your end of things, where it's very much about, do the activity, absorb yourself in the activity you're doing, stop being distracted by your phone or your screens or thinking about what's going to be on TV. And seeing that other kid, I was like, man, I hope, and no offense to that kid now, I mean, that kid's probably like 16, 17. I assume the worst. Like, I assume he's the worst. But yeah, it's interesting because the three kids that were great on there, they're obviously well traveled and they, were very respectful of different cultures. And I just never seen kids interact that way before. Like, I think of kids traveling and they want to get in the pool or they want to go to the beach or they want to, just go and do something fun and be entertained. Whereas these kids were like, they were worldly. I was like, I want to be like those kids. Like, you just want to adopt a fourth weirder like kid in their late 20s. Like, I'll get on board with that. On that note of being a sick travel companion, my wife and I are booked in for our luau tonight. Awesome. And this boy's got to go and get his floral print on and get stuck into some rum. So would you mind terribly if we do like a little two-parter here, and I'll interrupt your evening with your family. You can get back on and hear about what a fun time I've had at the luau.
That sounds fantastic. So, as you know, Scott is in Hawaii after the break, and in this recording world, it would have been a couple of hours and a couple of Mai Tais and rums, apparently. So stay tuned. After the break, we will have Word of the Week and Scott's experience at a luau.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, my friend had a baby. Life flipped like a coin. Oh, my friend had a baby. Chaos joined the joy.
I wish I was in Hawaii. If you like this episode, you should subscribe so you never miss an episode. This is my favorite podcast. Yay!
Guitar scream. Parenthood's a dubstep drop, not some easy dream. Oh, my friend had a baby.
Welcome back. Welcome back after the break, of course. For you, dear listener at home, has been but a mere few seconds. But for us, in the My Friend Had a Baby world, it's been a few
The Mai Tai had a baby.
Mai Tai had a baby.
The Mai Tai had a baby. And look, adventures have been had and luau's have been gone to. Pork's been eaten and Mai Tais have been drunk. And
fantastic.
Look, we're all better for it. Not really.
Well, let's. There's been quite a few updates in the last, 30 seconds in this recording, but I think about 6 hours in the real world, is that, we got our gestational diabetes results back. And
congratulations.
We're all clear. So
okay, congratulations. You were smiling and I was like, oh, fuck. I hope this is a good outcome. Congratulations, you got gestational diabetes. I have near on like real life, like type 2 diabetes after tonight though. So like to like, surely.
No. So we're all good there, and we're also we're a little bit low in iron, but we're not at iron infusion range yet. We're just at supplement range, so we're all good. And the other thing, we have an update on our European Bonk Fest, which I know you are absolutely.
Oh, God, I am frothing about this. It was actually the one thing that distracted me from the luau. And I do have, I was like sitting there watching the fire spitters and I'm like, where did it happen? Like, where were they banging?
Well, I was quickly informed that it wasn't a bonk fest as I describe it, but I'll take what I can get. So, drum roll is that it was Amsterdam, apparently.
Amsterdam. Oh,
Yeah.
that is the place for it to happen, though, realistically, of all the...
The entertainment was encouraging, I think, is probably the best way to describe it. But there is a 10% chance that it was also in Germany, which aligns with, your happiness of having those kids on that boat.
Look, I do. That was the other thing I've been thinking about as well, is like, it took, 8 episodes to get to Hitler?
Didn't take long at all. Hey, I want to hear about your Luau journey, and we are going to get to word of the week as well. But I made a song for your little Hawaiian journey. You ready?
Oh, my days. I'm ready.
My friend had a baby, but I wanted more. So I went on holiday, because life is a bore. I'm in Hawaii, yeah, in Hawaii. You couldn't find me. I'm in Hawaii, bitch.
How is that not our theme song? Like, literally losing money, not having that. All the corporate sponsorship we could get from Hawaii, if that was our theme song.
So, Scott, you've been on a luau. Perhaps explain to everyone, what is the luau, and was it the greatest thing you've ever done?
The luau is, you go to a place and there's a lot of food, there's a lot of dancing, all your traditional sort of hula, fire spinning. You can't see me right now, but my head dress that that I'm donning currently was hand woven in front of me by a guy who'd done about 700 of them beforehand. But he made a big deal about this one being specifically, fit for purpose. Yeah, it was very specially created. I've got the lei on. You get off the bus and they slam the lei flower sort of necklace on you. And look, it's just, at the end of the day, it's a bunch of white people getting drunk in the park, watching some really awesome Hawaiian people just doing their thing. And I've got to say, so I'm going to tell a quick story right now. So as a part of the big dancing, fire spinning presentation, there was a sort of hop through the Polynesian groups. So they did, the Hawaiian dances, they did the Fijian dances, and then they did the haka.
Oh.
Right? So they did the haka, and and it was brilliant. It was a brilliant coverage of the haka. But they did the very traditional component of the haka, which is there's a sort of not necessarily an offering, but there's like a peace offering of sorts where they put some leaves on the ground and then they point to someone in the crowd to come and collect it as a way of showing respect. And he pointed the fucking spear right at me, and I was like, "You are a brave man doing the haka, pointing at the only Australian around about 18 Mai Tais deep at this point, in front of about 600 people." Thankfully, there was a very little sort of skinny American boy who thought that he was getting pointed at in front of me. But when he got up, the fella who was doing the haka, he like locked eyes at me and he's like, "That was meant for you." And I was like, I don't know what would have happened. Like, would it have been
to see that as a challenge?
All Blacks versus I feel like he was throwing down the gauntlet.
They probably knew, and let's be honest, it was probably for the greater good that you didn't get up.
Yeah, I know. Like, we pointed to the only Australian. How did you know that I was the Australian in the group? Well, you had 6 drinks in front of you, so there were hints about you being the only Australian. Yeah, when he pointed at me, my wife said, "I thought he was pointing at me," and I went, "Oh, so what would have happened if the little skinny American boy didn't get up?" She's like, "I don't know." And I went, you think you don't know? Like, would you have thrown down with that big, like, island warrior? Would this have been, like, 6'4" muscle-bound, like, island man versus sort of skinny, pregnant, white Australian girl?
Well,
Is that why we signed that waiver when we got there?
Well, I was going to ask, did they do anything special for your pregnant wife, or was she treated in any other different way? You know, thinking about anyone who's thinking about going overseas whilst 28 weeks pregnant or whatever it is, was there anything that made you go, oh, maybe this wasn't a good idea, or this was a fucking awesome idea?
No, it's an awesome idea. It's a big sort of group it's a big outdoor party, essentially. Yeah. So they did the shout outs for people that are on their honeymoon, they're on their anniversaries, et cetera, because it's Hawaii. That's what you do and where you go. But we didn't even get airtime. I was serious.
Oh, what?
Like, what has this been for? The lead up to this, we didn't get caught up on stage. One star.
Maybe your wife should have thrown down and just, started to go into labour there on the beach.
Oh, yeah. And then I just jump in and do the slip and slide, but do a karate kick at the end to knock out a warrior.
So I imagine a luau is that very Hollywood thing that you see of them all partying on the beach with their big flame twirly thingies and stuff.
There was a lot of flame twirly things. It was very cool though. It was actually really informative, sort of learning about background and, why those dances are important and so forth. But the problem was, like, you're there and you're watching these guys do, like, ceremonies that are literally over 1,000 years old. And I'm there with my 6 drinks and I'm going, where did Alex bang his wife? Like, I'm just like glazed over, staring off at the sunset. It's like that guy was probably looking at me, waiting to call me on stage. Because like, is that guy having a stroke? Like, he's not even looking at the stage.
Oh, my family listened to this.
You started it. This is on you. Everything that happens from here on out is on you. You started this podcast when I was sober, and now I am a ungodly amount of Mai Tais deep. So the truth's coming out.
Oh, well, look, you got to get there somehow. This podcast wouldn't exist without said journey. So, but we might avoid those details any further. Oh God, we need a distraction. Oh, I know what a good distraction is. Word of the week.
It's time for Word of the Week. It's time for Word of the Week. It's time, oh yeah, for Word of the Week.
I'm hijacking it. I'm taking Word of the Week. I'm doing How to Dad and Word of the Week. I'm taking them both. I'm on holiday. I'm taking both because I've got a Hawaiian Word of the Week. It's a Hawaiian Word of the Week because this is the best Word of the Week I think we've done yet. This is a Hawaiian term. When I heard it, I just about shat myself inside out. So the Word of the Week this week is broke mamut.
Slow that down and say it clearly. What?
Broke mamut. Oh, it's so good. All right. So it's part of the Pidgin Hawaiian language, broke mamut, which translates to pregnancy cravings.
Oh,
yeah, it's got a wholesome ending, right? It's got a wholesome ending. So broke mamut. It does. Hijacked. Taking it over, right? Broke mamut. It's pregnancy cravings. So broke mamut. Yeah, that's Word of the Week. And I'd like to. I'm planting my flag right here that this is the first time on this podcast that a segment has been ripped out from underneath the other one. I know going into the break, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do the How to Dad thing, and you're going to do the Word of the Week. And I came back, I'm like, nah, I'm taking them. I'm taking both. I'm on holiday, bitch.
I'm okay with being hijacked if that's the outcome, is that we can share culture from the other side of the world.
Other thing as well that was very interesting. So on the topic of the luau, and it's a good segue, not a segue, it's a good conduit between our last episode and this episode, was the third group of people that were called out as a part of the, anyone that's on their honeymoon, anyone that's having an anniversary, or anyone that is a member of the US Defense Force.
Oh.
But I thought that was really interesting because I know we had Damien on last episode, and I think at that moment I was like, wow, they really treat their veterans with really serious levels of respect over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that that's like you're in this ultra romantic. I know it's got a lot of military history over here, but
Yep.
to have the people on stage say, oh, okay, well, anyone that wants to get up and you're in love and all that kind of thing, or if you're a veteran, I thought, well, that was actually really cool, like a really cool thing to happen, and everyone clapped and we clapped and all that kind of thing, and it was nice to just give that nod to the vets.
We have a different way of celebrating that here in Australia. I don't know whether it's better or right or anything like that, but we have those dedicated days, but I guess the US does as well. But yeah, I guess coming as an Australian, it's sort of like, oh, that's interesting. But then you're like, should we do that more?
Realistically, we probably should. We should do something a little bit more than the one day of the year where it's like, oh, we're going to show our level of respect by everyone gets up at 5:30 in the morning. And go somewhere like there's probably a bit more we could do to show that love. But yeah,
that must be an interesting experience. Well, so far this episode we've covered a lot of things, Scott, and we've talked about your immeasurable amount of Mai Tais that you've consumed, which is fantastic.
Criminal amount, I believe it's called.
We've given good updates to Bonkfest and gestational diabetes, which is all good. For better or worse, and that we're both our wives are. Mine is at the 28-week mark, so we've hit that third trimester, and we're sort of hitting that scary moment now where it's sort of that. If the baby comes, like this is, if there's anything that if the baby's ready to go, it's coming, and that's it. So which is a little bit scary, I got to say. And you guys are so close behind us as well.
Oh yeah, we are nipping at your heels at 26 weeks. I like to think that by the time we get to 28 weeks, I will have cleaned my act up. Like I know the next 2 weeks for the pregnancy are important, but the next 2 weeks are also important for me as a human being. And I'd like my future son to listen to this episode, maybe in 15, maybe in 30 years, and go, wow, he really got his shit together in that 2 weeks. By the time we have our next guest on, who is renowned hypnobirthing specialist, Dr. Erin, who is going to come in and walk us through some of that amazing stuff. By that point, I'm going to be a model citizen. You're not even going to know who I am. You're going to flip out. You're going to try and talk to me, and you're just going to be hysterical with the level of maturity that you'll face, and calm, the cool, calm dad vibe I'm going to have. No more anxiety. I've got it all out, right? But I will have sobered up, so it will be back.
I know everyone who's listening, because we don't do video as part of our podcast, is that pre-break, Scott was, I believe he was even clean shaven. There was nothing attached to him.
He grew a beard. He grew a beard in the last 4 hours.
And he's got a bandana on of some sort. He's covered in flowers, and it's just a wonderful scene. So you're, even though we don't do video, hopefully that gives you and there's glasses as well. Oh my God.
It's a very specific fetish that I'm aiming for.
Scott, we set up an email. If people want to send us clips or video, maybe not video,
or just send us an angry email about something we've said. Like if you want to clap back, this is your opportunity. We are giving you an open forum to send what you want. Give us the high kicks, give us the bitch slap, it is hello@myfriendhadababy.com.au.
That email address, hello@myfriendhadababy.com.au. If you have questions, if you have feedback, if you have, I don't know, your stories that you want to share with us, we will read them out uncensored live. Well, we'll see about that, but we haven't actually talked about it at all, have we?
We haven't. You're making a commitment that neither one of us has signed off on.
Send us an email. We would love it. We would appreciate it. And there's a special reward for the first person who sends us an email. I don't know what it is yet, but we'll work it out. Maybe, right? Maybe.
Alex will deliver your baby. The first person, Alex will be in the room, regardless of where you are. We'll make that commitment. The first person that sends an email, Alex will come to you and be in the room while your baby is being delivered.
We will do a live recording from your child.
Oh, God.
We could do like a play-by-play commentary. I see the head. I see the head.
I only think about how our obstetrician, how furious he would be just at the sheer idea that anything funny was happening in the room while the baby was coming out. And I'm for it. I'm going to send the first email. I'm going to send it myself. You heard it here, Dr. Steve. Coming for you, bro.
Or we could do a live show from contraception, perhaps. No, not
God.
Conception.
Contraception? That's the worst time to do it. on this show, that's the worst time to be doing it. Inception. Conception?
Conception. It's conception.
Inception.
Yeah.
All right. We'll sit on either side of the bed, give you feedback, and say, look, when we did it, there was a single-use cardboard tube there.
Do you have your pasta alternative?
Oh, I've got to quickly say here, while we're on the line, while we're doing this, America, they have just thrown the whole single-use thing directly in the bin. They're like, no, plastic, everything, straws everywhere. We've seen sea turtles with, 15, 16 straws sticking out of their nose, and no one's saying anything. Everyone's just like, that's fine, and they're all tipping each other. While, they're tipping each other for not saying anything. And it is of all the things that we've done and experienced in America, that would have to be the weirdest thing. That they started moving in that direction, and then they moved back. And they're like, no, we're not doing that anymore. Bring back plastic straws. Fuck the environment.
On that note.
And I'm for it. But no. And on that note,
we will see you in the next episode.
And for all you tired parents out there, pineapples in the blender for the Mai Tai, baby in the stroller. It's so dark.
Oh, my friend had a baby. Chaos joined the joy.